The pick is in.
With the 30th pick, the Buffalo Bills select Maxwell Hairston, cornerback from Kentucky. Let's bring in Locked On Bills host Joe Marino to download on the pick. So what do you like about this pick, Joe, and what Maxwell Hairston can bring to the secondary room for this Buffalo Bills team?
Well, the Bills had a big need at cornerback across from Christian Benford, where they brought back some familiar faces recently in Dane Jackson and Tre'Davious White, but you're really looking for some ceiling, some upside, someone that can really pair long-term with Christian Benford. And I think the Bills found an exciting answer that brings a new dimension to their cornerback room with the speed dynamic that he offers. The Bills have traditionally had some slower cornerbacks, but that's not the case with Maxwell Hairston, who runs in the 4.2s, guy that can really run and cover. And I think he brings an aggressive demeanor to this defense, a guy that I think can play in a lot of different coverage techniques, but whatever he does, he's very aggressive. He's a guy that really hunts the football. And so you want corners that can take away the ball. I think he's got plus ball skills, and boy, he's aggressive. So speed, athleticism, youth to the cornerback room and filling a big hole across from Christian Benford.
Yeah, indeed. And when you kind of think about it, to your point, where he fits in, he's a guy that they could potentially want to see, hey, what are the results that you can bring to the table for this Buffalo Bills secondary on day one? So obviously we talked about some of the good that he brings to the table, but what for you do you see are some of the things that Maxwell needs to develop maybe to get himself ready to be impactful for day one?
Well, I think the thing with Hairston that's interesting is he's a very aggressive physical corner, but he doesn't necessarily have the frame to match. He's about 183 pounds at the combine. Now, reports are that he's bulked up over 190 pounds, but if you're going to be an aggressive dude that likes to hit and hunt, you got to have some mass to you at the next level. And of course, he missed some time this past season with a shoulder injury, and that's something to be mindful of. So I think it's about getting the body right, getting the frame, develop the muscle mass necessary to be the same type of aggressive player he was in college for the Buffalo Bills.
And obviously, if you're picking at 30, that means you did something right to get almost to the promised land. But Joe, is this the piece? Obviously, there may be one or two more pieces, but is this one of the key pieces that the Buffalo Bills need in order for them to be the team that we're talking about representing the AFC in the Super Bowl come 2026?
Yeah, the 30th pick in the draft is the worst
pick, right?
to organically pick. It means you lost the conference championship game. So obviously the Bills would like to pick a little bit lower in the future years. But I think the Bills came into this draft with three primary needs, cornerback being one of them, defensive tackle and defensive end being the other. And the Bills have two day two picks, two second-round picks at their disposal to continue attacking these needs on the defensive side of the football. And so they check a big box with corner, but obviously work to do on Friday night. And hopefully the Bills can come away with some impact players for the defensive line to really get this defense at a point where it can be consistent in the playoffs and stop letting Josh Allen down in these big playoff elimination games. I mean, Josh is out there putting up points. The offense has been really good. The defense continues to let them down, and hopefully the Bills can assemble a draft class that can help build a Super Bowl caliber defense to complement the NFL MVP and Josh Allen.
For continuing coverage of the Bills, subscribe to Locked On Bills wherever you get your podcast. And for more on Maxwell Hairston, let's hear from Locked On Kentucky host Lance Daw, who spent a lot of time covering Maxwell up close.
Maxwell Hairston is a straight-up ball hawk, one of the most electric cornerbacks in this entire draft class. Hi, I'm Lance Dahl, host of the Locked On Kentucky podcast, and Hairston isn't just another defensive back with speed. He led the SEC in interceptions 2 seasons ago, and 2 of those were returned for touchdowns in a single game. He's got blazing 4.28 speed, fluid hips, and elite anticipation in zone, but what separates Hairston here is his football IQ. As Kid Lee reads quarterbacks like a book, and he attacks the ball very well. He's still filling out his frame, sure, but the upside here with his athleticism and anticipation is massive. Any team that runs a zone-heavy scheme or needs help over the top should be circling his name. For more on Kentucky prospects, you can subscribe to the Locked On Kentucky podcast wherever you get your podcasts.